Welcome back. Rosengård is an enclave southwest of Sweden's third largest city. Some of the immigrant neighborhoods have unemployment rates exceeding 50%.
On the streets of Rosengård, police interact with young Muslims every day. We were told that this was a dangerous, crime-ridden area where violent gangs roamed the streets and dealt narcotics.
Now we're going a trip to one of our hotspots, that we call them.
Do you think that any of these immigrants will ever see themselves as part of Swedish society?
I hope they will, but most part of the ones I speak with are born in Sweden. They say that they one day will move back, or they don't consider themselves as Swedish. They don't like Sweden.
When we arrived with the police, we were met with an attitude of skepticism and hostility. The local youths trying to act the part of the gangsters they are portrayed as by the Swedish media.
Where are you from?
Me?
Yeah.
From Palestine. Yeah.
What are some of the major problems in this area?
Violence, robbery, everything you can think of.
You like the violence?
I love it, I don't like it.
Du är inte crazy. Om du är crazy, åk till Palestina och kriga om du är crazy.
Ili Latifi is a member of a youth outreach program and works with the local police.
Of course there are problems, but not all people. But they think it's cool to talk, yeah, we're gangsters. They like the image.
What are the problems in the Muslim immigrant community here?
Jobs, school, have low education. If you come to a job interview and your name is like Mohammed or something like that, they're gonna think twice. It's the truth.
2 blocks away, Berang was rapping with his students. He encourages them to think creatively and to avoid associating with gangs. This afternoon, he was organizing a workshop with the children in the neighborhood. As I walked with Berang, I realized that there was not a single native Swede to be seen. They spoke Arabic, and every family had a satellite dish, a direct link to their past and their home countries.
Så det är refräng som you sign, jag hjälper lite, vi har skrivit den tillsammans. Ingen ska
What are some of the themes that you're exploring?
The themes that are most common to write about is about war, it's about racism, it's about how it is to live in a neighborhood such as Rosengård. En gång till. Svart och vit, skritta, man får lika mycket skit. Black and white, vi alla likadana. Folk är på Rosengård, är inte galna. En gång till. En gång till, jag vill höra en röst. Vi kör, okej?
One native Swede who knows what life is like in Rosengård is journalist Lars Åberg. He has spent time in the neighborhood speaking with Muslim families, and his articles focus on the issues facing Malmo's immigrants.
Sweden has been providing a lot of help for people who come here. You get social welfare, obviously, you get an apartment, you get furniture, you get new teeth if you need that, you get new glasses, you get all kinds of support, which I think is good, but it also creates a dependency, of course, in the long run.
For Lars, the cultural isolation in Rosengård has serious consequences.
It's a tragedy now when you go to Rosengård school and you have almost no student there who speaks Swedish at home, and with each other in the schoolyard they don't speak Swedish, and it creates a sort of a feeling of separation from the society, which is quite dangerous, I think, because you don't ever get involved in the major society.
The community center in the heart of Rosengård is a popular hangout for young Muslims. It is here that I found 17-year-old Ramadan starting his daily workout.
Boxing is, a good sport because many in Rosengård, they don't have many things to do, So they just around in the streets. When you come and box, you have something to think about,
Since September 11th, Ramadan has seen the Swedish attitude towards Muslims change.
Just because Islamic people have beards, they don't have to mean that they are terrorists or something like that.
Does that make you sad that in a country that you grew up in, people have this perception of Islam?
Yeah, of course I have, you know, because Islam is my religion, you know. I believe in it, so of course you get angry, but it's nothing you can do, you know.
The main problem is, I think, is that Swedish identity is changing in this, and a lot of Swedes don't like that.
Luciano Studio, a Chilean immigrant, is a member of parliament for the Social Democrats.
Now we have structures sometimes built with a good purpose, but that now create problems, and we have to redefine that. How do we rebuild the Swedish welfare state model and adapt it to this new world we live in, with diverse communities, with different religious backgrounds?
On my last day in Rosengård, I was invited to a basement mosque to meet Amar Daoud and his students. The main mosque in Rosengård is considered by many to be too liberal, so smaller, conservative mosques have sprung up across Malmo. Amar teaches young Muslims about Islam and the Quran. His students were angry that Sweden was not more accepting of their religion.
And it had been a bit tough after 11th of September for the Muslim, especially for the Muslim women and the Muslim girls. So there are so many misconceptions, very little information about Islam, and we're suffering because of this.
De säger att det är ett demokratiland och att varje en får göra vad han vill och varje en får ha sin egen religion. Så vi får också ha vår egen religion och praktisera det vi vill.
Do all of you like to discuss politics?
I can tell you faktiskt a funny history here. Here is a school about 98 students there. Half are Palestinian. After 11th of September, the Western and the Swedish, will they stand up 1 minute to show respect to the died and support the USA? And they had refused to stand 1 minute because they said, we are suffering, we died every day in F-16 work plan and Apache and so on, and there would be made in the USA. We had suffered so many years. They didn't come and say, we are going to stand a 1 minute with Palestinian. And it had become a big issue. They couldn't understand why the Palestinian children refused to stand 1 minute.
I could see that for these Muslims, the tensions between Islam and Western society were both political and personal. World events have affected the way Swedes view Islam, and it doesn't help that the only images they see of Muslim immigrants tend to be violent and divisive. Maybe it was up to people like Berang to build bridges between the two communities.
Berang has put together a concert for all his young students, and everyone's come together to celebrate the end of a week of recruiting young children in Rosengård.
The scene around me was surreal. These young children were rapping about war, racism, and integrating into a culture that was often openly hostile towards them.
In one corner of the field, you have Muslim women with their heads covered and wearing long black abayas. Right next to them, young kids are rapping, a very Western concept. And this is the picture of Rosengård that people outside do not see, that these two can happily coexist together.
I thought it was really good. It went really good. So the kids like it, you know. First time for them to like do something in front of their friends, you know, and they're proud of it. So I'm really happy. This is good for their confidence for the future as well.
Concerts such as these are totally opposite to the image that people have of Rosengård.
This is the real image. This is the real life of Rosengård. People who love music, people who love the music culture, people who want to gather around and just do good things together. Some of these kids in the future will be maybe the Prime Minister of Sweden, maybe the next leader of Malmo, maybe the next great rapper, next great artist. And I'm looking forward to see how we will change Sweden in the future.
Sweden is at a crossroads. If the situation is to improve, Muslim immigrants in places like Rosengård must make a greater effort to fully integrate into Swedish society. At the same time, native Swedes must learn to accept Muslims as one of their own.
From Sweden to Spain for next week's episode, and a look at the building boom which was not meant an increase in the construction of mosques, despite an expanding Muslim population. We'll tell you why. Thank you for joining us. I'm Elizabeth Filippoli. Until next time.